In this video, I'm going to share 5 strategies for starting off your day right and getting more stuff done. The way that you set the tone for the day really does have a huge impact on the entire rest of the day, and so it's really important that we start the day off right. Recently, I've been actually having a lot of trouble with this. I've been struggling quite a lot with my time management. And one of the things that I was doing was as soon as I woke up, I would immediately check my phone and then I would do my Wordle for the day, connections. I do it with this group. We've been doing it for almost 2 years now. And, this takes maybe 10, 15 minutes. And that's not that much time, right? But I realized it really set the tone of the day very poorly because then all of a sudden I'm starting off the day with these leisure activities and it can be all too easy to start using my phone for other activities or other things and just completely get off to the wrong start. Another thing that I've been getting into recently is chess. And, I have a bit of an addictive personality and I've been playing a ton. It really scratches that competitive itch that StarCraft did. Sometimes I just intend to play one game, or, when I'm watching YouTube, I just intend to watch one YouTube video. But once you get started, it never ends. Sometimes you just find yourself watching multiple YouTube videos or playing multiple chess games. And all of a sudden the day is completely over and you wonder where all your time went. It can be really easy to feel very guilty and to beat yourself up about it. And so that's why I want to try and tackle this with some strategies for starting off the day on a better foot instead. So what are those strategies that I'm hoping to implement? So first of all, this is not only, maybe I'm sharing this for you guys a little bit, but probably predominantly this video, it's kind of like advice for me, like things I want to do to try and get my day to start off right. Because I'm definitely not an expert on this and I'm just trying to figure out how to get my time back. And so these are the things that I'm going to try to do. And so the first rule that I'm going to set for myself is that I am not going to use my phone when I wake up. And this immediately tackles that problem with the Wordle and connections and playing all these games at the very beginning of the day. Again, we have to set the tone for the day right. And if we start the tone for the day with doing Wordle and a bunch of, games at the beginning, then it's going to kind of feel like a leisure day and we're just going to want to do relaxing games or videos all day. So one of the things that I think will also be beneficial is potentially using an alarm clock instead and then having the phone completely out of the bedroom, because there's actually been multiple times that I would wake up in the middle of the night, I had to go to the bathroom or something, and then I would check my phone real quick and I'd be like, oh, I feel kind of awake right now. Let me play one quick chess game or something. And, it's very stimulating to play chess. So I would play one game and then I would, usually I would play a couple because usually after playing one game, you kind of want to win some more. But after that, it's like GG for your sleep. There's no way you're going to go to sleep at that point. And I would just lie there for hours being unable to sleep. And it impacts the whole rest of the day as well. So that's why it's probably going to be a good idea to try to use an alarm clock separately from the phone so that the phone is just completely not an option in the middle of the night. Rule number 2 is to set your phone in a completely separate location in your house when you are, just doing work at home. And so for me, I'm going to keep that towards the kitchen area, which is kind of far for me. I'd have to walk, several rooms over to get over there. And this is really important because even just the fact of having the phone next to you while you're working is incredibly distracting. It's way too easy to just pick up your phone and just start mindlessly browsing. And then all of a sudden, you've completely lost focus on what you were previously doing. And, I've tried a lot of those things like grayscale, trying some apps that will try and limit your time on the phone, but they never ended up being really successful. And I think really, why not just, tackle the root of the problem, which is the phone itself. So get that phone out of the way, out of sight. And if something important comes in, like a phone call, then you can still hear it because you're treating it like a landline pretty much. But if something comes in like an email or a message, it's not going to be as distracting as, when you're in the flow of doing something and then all of a sudden you get a bunch of pings and you feel like you're obligated to check it. So that's going to kind of completely eliminate that. So put that phone in a separate location and just physically be separated from your phone. Rule number 3 is to work out first thing in the morning. Now, I've never been somebody who worked out in the morning. I always like to work out at night because that was just, what I liked to do. But I'm starting to realize working out in the morning, there's a reason why so many people find that working out in the morning is better. And one of the obvious reasons is when you work out in the morning, you get it out of the way early and you don't have that situation where you're coming back from work exhausted and you don't want to work out and you make a bunch of excuses for why you can't work out. And that's what I would find all the time when I was coming back from my on weeks. 10 to 12 hours at the hospital. I get back home. I have to start cooking. I have to start doing all this stuff. There's just so many reasons for me not to work out. And so I haven't been working out very well recently. But working out in the morning, you have so much more motivation. And I've been keeping the bar really low. So what I've been doing, I've just been doing one lift in the morning a day. I'm not trying to do like an extensive workout. I'm pretty much just doing like a 10 to 15 minute workout, either bench, squat, deadlift, or overhead press, and then maybe some pull-ups if I have some time. But just doing that one thing. So it takes 10 to 15 minutes. So all I have to do is wake up 10 to 15 minutes earlier. I get that workout in, and then I'm set for the rest of the day. And just keeping the bar low is at least helping me keep that consistency, because when you set the bar a little too high, it becomes easier to make an excuse and then miss a few days in a row. But right now, with just this one exercise per day, I've been able to keep it up for a couple weeks now. And it's been nice getting back into working out, because it's been over basically like a year since I was really consistently working out. And so at some point, I had to get back to that point where I was doing, the most I was able to bench was 195 for 4 sets of 6. So I want to see if eventually I can build up to that again and maybe surpass that. That would be really awesome. But yeah, the benefit of doing this is it's so much easier to maintain this easy 10 to 15 minute workout, either on my on week or my off week, because it's such a short workout. And that helps maintain the consistency. And then if I do have a bad day where I was very unproductive or I just really didn't get anything done, at least I still did the workout for the day in that morning. And so that does help me quite a bit, just to be like, hey, at least I did something productive today. There was actually a good Reddit post that I was reading about a month ago about residents who work out before work. And it's kind of just motivational to read other people's experiences, because it kind of makes you realize other people are doing this, so you can do this as well. It's feasible. So this is a cardiology fellow, like one of the busiest fellows in the hospital. Usually goes to bed at 8:30 to 9 and wakes up at 4:25 to 4:30, gets to the gym right when it opens at 5, have a strict 45-minute time limit and out the door no later than 5:45 in order to get ready for his shift at 7. Usually able to do it for 4 to 5 times per week. This person does not have children. No, but he has gains. But this person says, similar schedule, just shifted by an hour when I need to be there at 6. 2 kids, lift 3 times a week, run 3 to 4 times per week. So very motivational to see how people are able to handle exercising in residency and as an attending, even with extremely busy schedules. So you can see all these people. Psychiatry wakes up at 5, works out 40 to 60 minutes. These people wake up at 4:30. Ortho goes to bed at 9:30 and wakes up at 3. Like, what is going on? Ortho, bro. So look at all their regimens though. It's 45 minutes to an hour. They're waking up at like crazy insane times, like 5, 4, 3. That is really crazy. But for me, it's just that 10 to 15 minutes, such a low bar to accomplish that I think it makes it basically no excuse not to do it at that point. All right, so rule number 4 is to write out my plan for the day in a physical notebook. And I just recently started doing this a couple days ago. I'd actually made a video a couple of years ago about my off day, and I was using a physical notebook at that time. And really, I feel like the physical notebook makes such a big difference compared to an online notebook such as OneNote, which I love using OneNote for various, sorts of things, all sorts of things I put into my OneNote. It's very searchable, very nice in that sense. But I do feel like having a physical notebook, I do tend to be more productive with these. Because physically writing it down and then physically crossing it out, I think does give you a little bit more of that sense of satisfaction and reward from completing tasks. And number 2, it's physical, right? So it doesn't have to rely on me using my phone, which again, going back to rule 1 and 2, which is to try and avoid using our phones at all costs. The less I can interact with my phone, the better, because even if I'm looking up something real quick on my to-do list on my phone, it's just another opportunity for me to, accidentally click YouTube real quick, or accidentally click the chess app real quick, and get completely distracted. So one additional way to stay away from any phone usage at all. And then finally, and thirdly, is that, the tasks that I can put on here is kind of finite. And so it makes it a little bit more approachable compared to when I'm on my phone. If I don't complete a task, I just leave it on the task list. And I find that it becomes this ever-growing, never-ending list of tasks that just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's very demoralizing. It's very discouraging, and it makes you feel like you can't accomplish all this stuff. Whereas this is more finite. I can only put so much on the page. And so it kind of makes it feel a little bit more approachable in terms of completing. So that's rule number 4, is to write down your plan for the day in a physical notebook, which I've recently started doing, and hopefully that helps out. Lastly, and this is kind of just an add-on tip that I added, but for me, rule number 5 has to be to stop snacking so much. And the reason I'm grouping this in with starting your day on the right foot is because I've noticed once I take that first bite of something unhealthy, then it's like the whole thing is unleashed, and I just start eating whatever snacks that are available after that. And so in our attending lounge, we have access to unlimited snacks, many of them unhealthy options. There are a few healthy options like yogurt, some hard-boiled eggs, things like that. But those unhealthy snacks, if you just eat one, it's like kind of like, oh man, I already ate like one, let me just eat some more. So that's at least how it works in my brain. And it's been really bad because I was already gaining weight through residency, because when we were residents, we would get these snack boxes delivered to our workrooms. And now as intending, I've got the same situation. And, I recently got my labs checked, and my LDL was actually elevated. It was 128. I've never had my lipid channel checked before. And my fasting glucose was 113. I was like, my fasting glucose was 113? That's crazy. So it's definitely had a pretty detrimental effect on my health. And it needs to be something that I need to stop, because not only for the weight gain, but also for the cholesterol and my glucose. So, I just need to nip that in the bud and just don't eat that first unhealthy snack of the day, because I find if I avoid that first snack, it becomes easier and easier throughout the day to continue avoiding them, because I'm like, oh, I've already not really snacked, for this much of the day so far. It's almost dinner time, maybe, it makes it a little bit easier to avoid snacking at that point. So anyways, those are my 5 new strategies or rules for how to start off your day on the correct foot. So number 1, don't check your phone in the morning. Number 2, put your phone in a separate location during the daytime. Number 3 is to work out in the morning. Number 4 is to plan out your day in a physical notebook. And number 5 is to stop snacking so much if that's a problem for you. When I start to accomplish all these little tasks in the beginning of the day, and I set the tone for the day on the right foot, it really makes a huge difference. As you accomplish task after task, you begin to build more and more motivation. And it's like, wow, I'm actually doing this. I'm actually getting work done. And you actually start to feel more motivated to continue being productive. And the satisfaction from completing those tasks is so much better than the short dopamine spikes that you get from a YouTube video or from a quick chess match. Although it takes a little bit more effort to get started, it's so much more worth it. And you don't have to beat yourself up about it and feel guilty all the time, which has been me for the past several months because of all this time wasting. So start your day out right. I hope those 5 strategies are helpful for you guys. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next video, and peace.